Is he dying? Serious question. Is he dying? Now, I guess you could say, well, we're all dying. But is his demise like right around the corner? Like, is he really like on his way out? There's several things I want to discuss that could lead one to believe that that is in fact true. I myself do not know if he is on the way out, but I do have some questions. Now, first of all, we know that they're lying about his health. I mean, we know this for a fact. First of all, they've been telling us forever, since his first term, the most ridiculous, unbelievable, that is to say, not believable things about his health. They would tell us things like he is the most healthy, the most physically fit president in all of American history. I mean, it's just patently ridiculous. They would lie about his weight. I mean, just on and on. But in this term, just since January, they've lied about a lot. For example, he just went a couple weeks ago to Walter Reed for his annual physical. This was just last month. Or maybe it was at the beginning of this month, but it's just within the last few weeks. Which is odd that he had his annual physical in the last few weeks, because he just had an annual physical in April. And as I understand the word annual, it means yearly. So to have it just a few months later after your annual physical, that would be a semi-annual, at least, physical. And why would he need to have that? Very weird. That follows all these other weird things we've seen about his health. He shows up with those mysterious bruises that he tries to cover up very poorly and ineffectively with makeup that doesn't match his skin. I mean, who the hell has he got back there doing his makeup? He's got that. Several times he showed up with bruises. He disappeared like a couple months ago. Remember that? People thought he was dead. And then he was gone for almost a week. Nobody's seen him. This narcissist who can't keep his fat orange face from in front of the cameras, he was just gone for like a week. And then they announced that he was going to have a press conference in the Oval Office. And they said a whole bunch of nothing. It was obviously, look at me, I didn't die press conference. Something happened. Something very clearly related to his health happened. They were lying about that. There's been many times where, and of course his energy levels all over the place, but of course he is old and horribly out of shape. But he can't stay awake at a lot of different functions. He's slurring his speech. He's all sleepy Donny boy half the time. Again, those could be just attributable to old age, but it's a symptom that you got to throw on top of the pile to try to get an overall sense of what's going on with this man's health. We've seen times where he has trouble walking. He drags his leg. And there's all kinds of things. So we have that. Then there was this weird thing where he started talking about heaven all of a sudden. And that he wants to get into heaven, but he worries he's not going to get into heaven. Just out of the blue. He said it many times since, but just out of the blue started talking about getting into heaven. Oh, fuck. I got a button that's coming loose. That's the same thing with these friggin' flannels or any button shirt. Once that button goes, you're screwed. You're not going to replace the button. You lose the button. Even if you did replace it, you gotta find the exact right size button, or else it doesn't fit through the little slit. And it's just, the shirts, the material always outlasts the buttons. What do they make these friggin' threads out of, for crying out loud? Good Lord. Okay. Where was I? Um, Heaven. So he's obsessed with getting into heaven. And then on more than one occasion, he almost seems like he was making the case why he should get into heaven. That he's done so many good things. I think that's one of the reasons why maybe, I don't know. I mean, he's just a fucking pathological liar and he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. But he was making the case of, all the good that he's done, why he should get into heaven. And then he talks about solving all these wars. What's he ended now? Like 9 wars? Have we made it into double digits of these made up wars that he pretends to have ended? I wonder if lying about ending wars is trying to get into heaven. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. You think you're gonna lie to God, lie your way in? You don't think God's gonna see past your lies? Don't see how that's gonna work. But anyway, so he's talking about heaven, just fucking weird shit, right? Especially a guy who clearly is not religious. He clearly doesn't believe in God. Maybe he's starting to worry about there being a God now that maybe he's getting close to the end. Maybe his, all these trips to Walter Reed, they're starting to tell him, hey, tick-tock, man, you're not in good shape. Better get right with the big guy. Maybe he's worried that maybe there is a God, because he clearly has never believed in God. And if you don't, that's fine. That's not the point here. The point is he pretends to be a Christian. I mean, the evangelical right, the Christian conservatives, he's like they're damn near, let's be honest, a lot of them put Donald Trump above God. I mean, so many of these evangelical churches, it seems like they have replaced God with Donald Trump. He's their new God. Anyway, the point is, this man who is the champion of these Christian conservatives, they're not conservatives, I shouldn't say that. These right-wing Christians who claim to be Christians, really nothing about them that is Christian. Not in the way they talk, not in the way they behave. They just pretend to be Christian, just like they pretend to be conservatives. But this man who, pretends to be this great Christian, clearly never believed in God his whole life. He doesn't go to church. He was asked famously about, what has he asked God for forgiveness for, or if he ever had? And he said, why would I do that? Why would I need to ask God for forgiveness? Well, it's kind of a basic tenet of Christianity, Anyways, so here he is talking about heaven. It sounds like he's hedging his bets. He knows he's on the way out, and oh shit, what if I've been wrong my whole life and there really is a God and there is a heaven and hell? I know where I'm going. Maybe I can talk my way out of this, sort of element to this. So we have that. Then we have him in this, desperately trying to build all these monuments to himself. Now, obviously, it doesn't surprise anyone that this guy would build a golden palace ballroom to himself, that he's going to put his name on, that he's going to build this massive this Arc du Trump, this archway coming into Washington. That's going to have his fucking name on. Washington, D.C., by the time he's done, is just going to look like a Trump property with gold and his fucking name everywhere. On the one hand, nobody is surprised by any of that. You would expect it from a megalomaniac narcissist like this guy. But I wonder if some of it also is, because I saw this, somebody said they watched a video recently about this. I haven't seen it myself. I don't know who might have put it up. But the video was supposedly talking about how Trump is building these things because he wants to be remembered. He wants monuments to himself, and he's doing this at a fever pitch because he knows he's on his way out. I don't know. Maybe. But then I saw this also. This is what I saw today that led me to bring this up. He went to Malaysia and he landed sometime in the last 12, 15 hours or so in Malaysia. And he was greeted by dancers behind a rope line right out there on the runway. Red carpet rolled out for him. These people are all dancing, these Malaysians, and he walks over to them. And, he does his stupid little, his double-handed jerk-off move. But it looked off. So I want to play this for you. Take a look at this here. Let me bring that down. Okay, go. And this bastard only has one dance move. So I don't think he's busting out new moves here. I think he can't do the old move anymore. I'm going to play this again. Now, if you watch from the beginning of this, he also seems to have trouble walking. He seems slow. He seems hunched over. He's turning more and more every day into a literal hunchback. Now, he also is old. And I'm making fun of people who are hunched over, stuff like that. I point this out for the medical speculation here about his health. I do also make fun of his I do body shame him. I'm not going to lie. But I think it's justified. Because he body shames everybody else, number one. And number two, his cult props him up and holds him up as the alpha male. The perfect male physical specimen. They lie to him. They have White House doctors. They lie to us about him. His White House doctors lie to us, telling us he's the greatest. He's in the best physical condition of any president in history. They make digital images of him and they pass it around all over social media with his shirt off and rippling muscles. It's fucking ridiculous. So if they're going to put him up as this perfect specimen of masculinity, and then I think making fun of his body is certainly within bounds, especially since, again, he makes fun of other people. But that's not my point here. My point is, he's walking slow. Looks like he's having difficulty walking. He may have been just asleep on the plane. I mean, there's other possible explanations for this. But take a look at this again. Watch his gait. Watch how his left leg doesn't seem to keep pace with his right. Let's see this again. So let me pull this up. Go. He looks like fucking Frankenstein here. The way he walks, and honestly his shoes. He looks like he's wearing Frankenstein boots. He looks very Frankensteinish. Lumbering. But look, that's not a two-handed jerk. Okay, normally he does the double-fisted thing, right? Like he's jacking off two guys at the same time, right? Now he's just got the one hand going. Let's take a look at this again. It's like he can no longer do two guys at once. And he's just got to focus on the one on his right. That left arm just isn't part of the dance yet. Have you ever seen this before? I have not. Every time I've seen this guy do his YMCA, and don't tell me it's the music. He's not busting out different moves for different music. He's got one move and that's it. It's this. It's the two guys at once move. That's it. What I think is he just can't do it anymore. Something happened. Now, Did he have a stroke? Because a lot of people have speculated that he has had a stroke, or that he's had a series of mini strokes. That has been the speculation. And there's some things about him that people have observed that lead people to that conclusion. But if he has had a stroke, that could explain why the left side of his body doesn't seem to be doing what the right side of his body's doing. Maybe he just can't get that arm, that left arm isn't part of the mix because he just can't get it anymore. It's just not doing his thing. And if you'll notice, the move, even on the right side of his body, is changing. It used to be a very herky-jerky, just like this. Now, it's not. It's not crisp and clean jerks. It's sort of this. He's doing this thing. Watch. Let me bring it back. And go. Frankenstein. And that's not a clean pull and jerk. There we go. Watch here. There, now look at this. That's almost like a circular motion. See that? That's not a clean tuggy jerk. Whatever. It's not a jerk and pull. It's almost like he's swimming with one arm. It's like a Trump stroke, right? He's going from the jerkin to a strokin', which, makes sense. Still very gay. But anyway, I don't know. I think maybe he's trying to overcompensate. He can't do the clean double-fisted jerk thing, so he's overcompensating with the right. And now it's turned into a swimming motion. I don't know. This is just me noticing things about him. Seem a little off. Maybe they're explainable by other things. He is old. He is obese. He is not in good physical condition. He just got off the plane. He's been sitting down. Maybe he's sore. Maybe he's tired. Maybe he was just drooling on himself in a chair. And they just woke him up. Sir, it's time to go dance with the Malaysians. I don't know. So there may be other explanations, but I think when you consider all these other things, the lying about his health, the bruises, the physicals every couple of months, the fact that he disappeared without explanation, he's talking about getting into heaven, he's furiously trying to build monuments to himself all over the fucking place. Seems like he's trying to make the case to God why he should get into heaven. I solved all these wars. And now he can't even do his double-fisted jerk-off dance anymore. It's not like it's a difficult dance. I mean, when you can't even do this anymore, you got some fucking problems. All's I'm saying.